Susie P.
Hi, Mummy Bear.
We're both a bit peaky, aren't we?
We are a bit peaky.
After a slightly late night last night.
I don't do late nights, do I?
No.
I'm pretty rubbish with them. I'm a morning person, which is great.
But that is great, but some balance would also be really good, because you're not just rubbish, you are destroyed with a late night.
And it can be like a
Always
late night
have
of
been
11
like that.
o'clock. And that will destroy me.
But we had a lovely evening
We
with
did.
friends, and we had a little mooch around their garden.
We
which
did
has
actually.
seen better days. They've just had an extension built, and the builders have written off the garden.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we had to kind of through stepping stones because they had loads of mud just everywhere.
But they had lots of lovely mature things.
Yeah, they did.
And they're now on to that phase of doing the garden. So we had quite a bit of fun thinking about how it can be set up, how they can move some of those plants from over there. They also had a load of plants that they'd salvaged and put in pots in the greenhouse that they're going to be able to start putting back out. So it's the really fun stage of their work.
Entirely, and they're going to be having some herbs.
Yes.
Herbs.
We should explain that the wife of a couple friend is American.
Yeah, so
you picked up on that, did
she's
you?
got herbs.
The herbs over there.
I find that really funny. It's like herbs. Okay.
So that was fun. But
Yeah.
also we've visited a more established garden in Cerney House.
Yes.
Which is in the Cotswolds.
We thought, oh, this looks really, really lovely, and they might have a little kind of tea room and everything. Anyways, when we arrived, it was really pouring with rain.
It was pretty unfortunate weather-wise.
Yeah, but this is what's quite amazing, is that you'd think, oh, the best time to go see a garden, it's bright sunshine, it's beautiful and everything. And so we went in the pouring rain, and we kind of would take shelter because they had all these little outbuildings, which was really cute and lovely. And it was just stunning, even in the rain. I thought I would love to be in this garden in the rain.
It was a very grey rain as well, and the garden was a beacon of light in amongst the grey. So many beautiful colours. The layout is really beautiful. I would really recommend seeing it if you're in. It's in the Cotswolds, not far from Cirencester, Cheltenham, those sorts of towns. Yeah. And it's a hidden gem because you don't know it's there, and you go through all these beautiful little Cotswold lanes and the dry stone walls and, single lanes.
Yeah,
so you
so
just
be careful.
pray you don't have anyone coming the opposite direction.
Yeah,
and then you go up a long sweeping drive. It's on quite a slope.
It is.
And there's a huge grand house.
Yeah,
and then you
amazing.
swing round to the car park, and then the gardens are just ahead of you.
Yeah.
And there are lots of garden rooms. There's also beautiful woodland, which we walked through.
Entirely.
But my favourite part was the apothecary garden.
The apothecary. Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
They had several separate beds, and each bed was for a different ailment, would you say?
Yes.
So there was a
respiratory
bed, there was a cardiac bed, there was a mental health bed, I think.
There were all these different ones.
A female hormone
bed. Yes, which of course is very important.
With all the different vegetables and herbs and all sorts of things that
entirely
you would have for those particular medical concerns.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was really, really cool. And then we were walking past. It's quite funny because once again, we're having all these kind of deja vus, that happen where we think about something and then it pops up in Gardener's World. It's quite amazing. Anyways, they will come up in this episode of Gardener's World, but there are two plants. There's one rose, which I need to talk about, and then there's this other plant which looks like it's on fire. Yeah. And we will talk about that as well.
Yes.
And these are two plants that we saw in Sunny House Gardens.
Yeah.
And I couldn't take my eyes off them. They were just stunning.
Yeah.
So it's a
brilliant.
plant must-have.
It all connects.
And, of course, we didn't just go there for the gardens. We also went there for the tea and cake. Of course. Which, I want to say, is, at the moment, my number one.
You're ranking that number one.
Of garden cake. Yes, I've decided that when I go around a garden, I will be ranking all the cakes and then creating a spreadsheet.
We didn't get to have cake at Great Dixter because we were too wired on coffee and had to leave. But let's start the ranking now. So yes, I'm not a cake person.
You really,
I can
really
take
aren't.
them or leave them. This cake's probably the best cake I've ever had. We had the coffee and walnut cake.
Coffee and walnut.
Sensational.
And then I think a brownie.
It was a brownie.
Brownie with there was something else in it, but both of them were absolutely amazing.
They were
and you sit
incredible.
in this really cute little outbuilding with beautiful seating areas, little kind of views over the garden, because it's kind of part of the garden is almost sunken, and all the sides kind of go up around it. So it's like a walled garden, and so on the top you can sit in this outbuilding having tea and cake and look down into the garden. And it's really beautiful vista.
And the indoors is beautifully laid out as well. It's very aesthetically pleasing.
It's so gorgeous.
They've got lots of plants. They have these sort of wooden boxes which they've stacked everywhere.
Yeah, little wine crates, aren't they?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And they've put plants, little potted plants around them in terracotta pots.
Like little money plants.
Yeah, and then some quite nice ornaments. But it's just really beautifully put together.
So
and we
gorgeous.
also had a chat with somebody who, I think she said she was from Stroud.
Yes.
And they visit it every week, and she goes primarily for the cake.
Yeah.
But also likes a little wander around the garden. She is a very charismatic woman, and her partner.
Yeah.
And she said about how she's got a membership so she can go there for cheaper each time, but she feels that she rewards them well enough with the amount of cake that she eats.
Yeah, exactly. It was so funny.
And also what they have is a little honesty system. So they've got a contactless machine.
Yep.
And you just pay with a contactless. Also, it's a 2-for-1 with Gardener's World
It
magazine.
is, exactly.
So you pay honesty for getting in, and then honesty for getting your cake and your tea.
Yes, and you write down a little booklet, the amount.
Yeah, what you've had.
Yes.
Lovely. Really nice experience.
It is really, really nice. And it feels like you're just pootling around, because there weren't that many people. There were only like 4 other people there.
Not many. And also I'll put some photos on our Instagram once I get around to it.
Yeah, I should send you my photos. I got some beautiful ones.
Okay, thanks, Sweet Pea. Right, so we have some housekeeping from last week. You talked about the world's smallest flower. Was it the watermeal? Watermeal. And
Yes.
we wanted to know what pollinates it and where do you find a watermeal?
So watermeal, you find, it's like duckweed. It's in ponds, any kind of water feature
So it's
everywhere.
a floating one, not a rooted one.
It's like you've got green couscous scattered over the top of the water. It's exactly like that, actually. Right. And the flowers are teeny, teeny, tiny, so you can find it everywhere. And then obviously you get certain ones which you find in Asia or in the Americas and stuff like that. So it's
Are they
really
in the UK as well then?
Yeah, in the UK as well. You can find it mainly with duckweed. It's kind of usually side by side. But yeah, it just kind of covers the water. It's like duckweed and that other one, Azola thing, ferny thing that we have. Anyways, and the pollination. Now, I've got kind of 2 ways of looking at it, because obviously you never know exactly whether it's correct unless you're talking to like an expert on watermeal. Anyway, so there are kind of 2 possibilities of pollination. One, which I think sounds far more correct, is it's typically pollinated by wind or water currents, which sounds completely and utterly correct. You can imagine
that makes sense. Yeah,
that makes sense. The flowers are so small, pollen just comes out, goes back into another one, just that kind of stuff, whatever. Quite easy, and that's kind of the main reproduction way for that plant. And then other ones have said that there are little tiny fleas and small spiders which can pollinate it.
That's interesting. I rather like that idea.
Yeah, but I feel like the water one is correct.
That makes more sense.
More correct, and makes sense in my head. It's so small, so it's just going to float along the water. And
you see, for me, the jury's still out, because I now want to know if it is wind and water flow, or if it's teeny tiny fleas or spiders.
Oh no! I need to find a watermeal expert.
We do. Now, another question that arose last week was, I'm still struggling to identify an aeonium from an echeveria.
Yeah, we have talked about this before, and I mean, I still find it quite difficult for me. I thought it was easy to kind of tell the difference, because mainly when I think of an aeonium, I think of kind of those flat leaves with kind of slightly stumpy end, I'm going to call it. Whereas echeverias, I think of them as kind of pointy. The leaves are facing upwards mainly, and very sharp ends usually. And then I always thought that colour would help me, because aeoniums I usually think of lime green and kind of dark purple. I think kind of in those 2 tones. But I think there are obviously
So many.
So many beyond my knowledge of any aeoniums. And echeverias I always thought were just kind of glaucous-y colour, you know, the kind of pastels, which of course we did talk about last week, is because of that farine on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that mainly the way to distinguish them is between how the leaves are shaped. So they both have a rosette of leaves, and then it's echeverias pointing upwards and spiky, aeoniums flat and slightly stumpier.
Stumpy.
I would go with that.
All right. I'll test that out then the next time I see
Hopefully
some
that
succulents.
helps.
Now, something I just need to mention is on one of our chit chats, you described one of our female guests as a dude.
Yes.
And she contacted us afterwards, and after her episode went live, and she was a little concerned by it.
Yeah.
So I thought we should probably clarify it.
Yeah, exactly.
Really to explain your vernacular. So you call anyone, man or woman, but mostly women, dudes.
Yeah.
And it's if they've achieved just really great things and
just
ultra
awesome.
cool
Yeah.
stuff with their lives. So we have a neighbour who's 87 years old and she gardens like a boss. She cycles up a really steep hill that we struggle to get up.
Entirely.
Staying on the bike and
gosh,
getting off and walking it. She wields a strimmer as if it's as light as a feather.
Yeah.
And she still goes dancing on a Saturday night with her husband.
And gets really cute haircuts.
And really cute
like
haircuts.
It's the 1980s.
And she's a dude.
She is
as far
a
as we're
dude.
concerned.
Yeah.
Also, the Lionesses, complete dudes.
Exactly. Just won the Euro.
Taylor Swift, dude.
Swift is a dude. Usually I go, oh, she's such a dude.
Yeah.
It's not saying she is a dude. She's such a dude.
She's such a dude. So apologies if
Mm.
we've offended anybody or upset or worried anyone.
Yeah.
You're in good company if you're labelled a dude by Sweet Pea.
Yeah, you are number one.
Now, regarding squashes and Monty saying about removing flowers.
Yes.
And leaving just 3 on each plant.
Yeah.
We asked a couple of allotmenteers who we've had on Chit Chats. So we had Amir from episode 1.
Oh, yes.
And also Mags and Mon from episode 36.
Of course,
to get their advice, because we were interested to know what other people do other than Monty. And Amir says he doesn't remove any of the fruit. He leaves them on. He does give a nitrogen feed. Mm-hmm. And Mags and Mon, they don't grow squashes, but they were surmising that if you applied it to squash, would you also apply it to cucumbers, for example, which they do grow, and they don't remove fruit, but they do remove some leaves.
Yeah.
And
which
then,
is good for light to get through.
Yeah, and then the general consensus in the no-dig world, so Charles Dowding, he really is of the view of a plant tends to know what it needs to do best, so as little intervention as possible.
That is a very, very good point.
So that's what I've seen from that train of thought. But,
of course.
I'd still be interested to know a bit more about it, so maybe a bit more digging on that as well.
Absolutely.
Right, Sweet Pea, nature news.
Nature news, hit me with it.
In Mexico City, there's a project called the Via Verde.
Oh, yeah.
And it's focused on turning Mexico City's grey to green. And so what they've done is all those kind of vertical columns that are holding up highways, so big, massive concrete pillars all around the city, they've actually turned into vertical gardens. So it was the brainchild of an architect called Fernando Ortiz Monasterio.
Very cool name.
That sounded more Italian though, didn't it? In 2016, he had the idea of making this transformation just to turn the city more green. And so he turned to social media and put out a post to get the consensus of the public.
Yeah.
And he had so many responses. He had 80,000 people get in touch saying, absolutely, we must do this. People started writing emails into the government to say, this is what we'd like to have.
Oh my
and
gosh,
so
sweet.
Petitions were signed. And as a result, the Via Verde project was fast-tracked with plans to convert 1,000 of these columns along a 27-kilometre stretch of highway into vertical gardens. There's a video, I'll be putting a link on our website. There's a lovely video showing what it looks like now, and it really does look rather beautiful.
Oh,
Complete transformation from a concrete jungle.
Oh, that's really lovely. Well, good luck to the Via Verde.
Yeah, sí. Oh, did I say it wrong? Vierme.
I think it's Via Verde.
Yes,
because V's become B's.
Yeah, all right. You linguist, you. Now, another nice piece of news is drones have discovered a nesting site in the Amazon of over 40,000 turtles. So researchers from the University of Florida have uncovered the largest known nesting site for what is a threatened turtle, the giant South American river turtle, which weighs up to 9 stone.
No way.
What's that in pounds? Like 135 pounds or something like that. I don't know what that
That's
is in kilos.
huge.
So a great big massive turtle, and they thought that this was a threatened species, and using drones they found this nesting site of 41,000 of these turtles.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be protected, obviously.
Rather wonderful. Well, you want to keep it
Yeah.
quiet as to where that is, because humans do actually hunt these turtles.
Oh.
So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Keep that under your hat.
That is, yes.
I'll put a link to the article on our website.
Oh, wowzers.
And some news a bit closer to home.
Yeah.
You know how duckweed is a real issue for your granddad in his pond?
Yeah.
So it just takes over, but he has now, we saw him the other week, and his duckweed is being shaded out by what you mentioned earlier, the azola, that free-floating fern.
Yeah.
And ironically, that came in from a duck. And the duck planted the azola, and the azola's got rid of the duckweed. So what's going on there?
I have no idea. Some weird stuff.
Well, apparently duckweed on a canal in Worcestershire, so the Stourport Basin, had so completely swamped it that you couldn't see that there was a canal there. It just looked like a green path.
Really?
To the extent that a dog did actually walk across and drown.
No.
Well, so as a result, they thought, well, you know, a human could easily, if they don't know the area, think that was just a green space to walk across.
Yeah.
So they removed all the duckweed. There was 80 tons of duckweed.
That's going to be good compost or something.
What exactly my thought. Can you imagine chucking that on your compost?
Entirely.
But it had basically turned fluorescent green, and they needed to spend 5 days of removing this stuff. It cost $12,500 to clear it all.
$12,500.
Isn't that amazing? And the thing is, we know with azola, which we have in our pond, duckweed as well. I know growing up with Dad's ponds, duckweed was always the bane of his life.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to get completely rid of it. And
there's always a little bit.
It reproduces so much.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're probably going to have to keep on top of that. Be scooping out another 5 truckloads in the future.
Oh, no. Well, good compost.
Exactly. Well, so Sweet Pea, some plant fun facts.
Well, since we're still on holiday and I still haven't got my book with me, but next week I will have my fun fact book. It'll be so nice to have my baby back.
Your baby back.
And my baby back. I miss her. Anyway, so I found some fun facts which are quite cool. Very random as well. So, figs match milk and calcium.
Figs what? Match?
Milk.
Oh, yes.
And calcium. Did you know that?
I was aware of there being calcium in figs, yeah.
And especially in dried figs.
Cow's milk. Really?
Yeah, there's more in dried than in, just the normal fruit. Undry.
Wet figs.
Oh, no, that's disgusting. Anyway, so I just thought that was really cool because I didn't know that.
That's amazing.
A plant can match in calcium. That's so cool.
How interesting.
Very, very cool. Then the other one, you know how we talk a lot about how plants can hear, but it's not kind of hear like animals can hear.
Yeah.
It's a different type of hearing. Anyways, so it's everything to do with detecting vibrations. And so they have these specialized kind of proteins in their cells, which are called, I think they're called mechanoreceptors. Hopefully that's correct. And these receptors, when they're stimulated by vibrations of either, for example, a water current nearby, they can trigger a cascade of electrical and chemical signals that affect the plant's growth and behaviour. So that's going to the whole thing. So there was a study done on a pea plant which started growing its roots towards this water source nearby, a flowing water source nearby, and it could feel the vibrations of the water and started growing towards it. And so it's this whole idea of then playing music to plants and everything and all these things which create certain vibrations, certain frequencies which the plant's mechanoreceptors respond to, which is why some plants are like, yay, we're really happy in a nice environment. If you sing to me, if you start shouting at me, I'm going to stop growing. No. Yeah, exactly. So I thought it was really, really cool because I never quite understood why it was that plants responded to music and certain vibrations.
I wonder if the same goes for houseplants. If they are in a happy house, they generally are going to be looking healthy and happy, and if they're in a sad house, they will die.
Well, that can't be working because I'm very happy and mine aren't looking always great.
The ones in your bedroom aren't great because you never ever water them. And still somehow they're clinging on in there because it's such a happy place.
Yeah, and
I mean, you have had them for years and years.
even
One
so,
of those has been over a decade, and it's still clinging on, largely thanks to Mutterbear, who will go in and water it because I see how dry it's looking. But I think that could be true because it's a happy room. Those plants are just hanging on in there despite not getting the vital basic requirements.
I mean, our previous cat used to shred up the palm.
She did like to chew
and
on
that's
that.
somehow clinging on for its dear life. Oh gosh, I'm going to become an indoor plants woman.
Well, we're going to see, aren't we? Because it's going to be entirely your responsibility. And if I come to your student digs and find all these dead plants, I'll know either you're unhappy or you really have never watered them ever.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
We shall see.
We shall see.
I have an animal fun fact.
Do tell.
You know how you see spiders kind of seemingly flying through the air on a strand of their silk?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like, what?
But it won't be attached to a tree or anything, and you just walk through this bit of web that's floating around.
Yeah.
Well, that's called ballooning. Some spiders have been found 2.5 miles up in the air and 1,000 miles out to sea using this technique.
Whoa.
And it was first kind of logged back when Darwin was on the ship.
Oh,
with
crikey.
Captain Cook, and they were just out at sea, miles away from any land, and he saw these little spiders floating past.
Just like, hello.
But what they do is, it's not a case of them just sort of sending a piece of silk out and then the wind picking it up, but it's actually been discovered by Eric Morley and Daniel Roberts from the Uni of Bristol, that the spiders can sense Earth's electric field, and they use that to launch themselves up into the air. So because the upper reaches of the atmosphere have a positive charge, and we know that the plant surface has a negative charge, because we know that with bees and plants.
Yes, entirely.
So when the spider's silk leaves their bodies, it typically picks up a negative charge, and this repels the similar negative charge.
Interesting.
On the ground. And it kind of launches them up into the air.
Wow.
So isn't that cool? So it's nothing to do with wind.
That is so amazing. I really love that one.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Ballooning. Well, Sweet Pete, we have a full-on episode again, and this time it's with Adam and Ash.
It is. It's nice to go see them. Oh, and of course, do not forget the good old Buster.
And Buster, of course, who we do get to meet a bit later on.
So cute.
So shall we get stuck in?
Yes.
This is Gardener's World 2025, episode 19 recap.
Off we go.
We're at Adam's place, and he's deadheading, mostly.
He is deadheading. At the beginning, there was, he stroked Ash's head, and Ash began to purr. It was very ASMR, wasn't it? And then when he was cutting things, it was the perfect...
Yeah. Gardener's World often is. I think they play a lot on the ASMR.
Oh, so satisfying. So he was cutting back the Nymphophia little maid, which had just finished flowering, although there was one little teeny tiny flower coming through. And that was kind of in and around, there was a Goldilocks aster, there were sea lavenders, euryngums, and Muhlenbeckia, all in that kind of area. And I think that was a slight gravel garden bit.
Okay. I loved what he did with replacing the box hedge that had died a death from the moth, and put in that lovely trough.
Yes, gorgeous.
And it was a great shape.
I know,
It
I
fitted
do like
that
that
space
shape.
perfectly, and what a great replacement.
I thought it was brilliant. So he was popping in. He was creating a little ramp with little bricks in there,
some
steps for any kind of creatures to get out.
I love how he calls it a service station for wildlife. It's just the perfect name, isn't it?
Completely.
For ponds in the garden.
Yeah, so sweet. And then some of the plants that he had in there was bulrush as the kind of marginal
miniature
plant.
one.
Yeah, a little miniature one, really cute.
Yeah.
The water lily and an oxygenator hornwort.
Yeah.
Pop that in there.
So you have all the different shapes from those.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we go with Sue Kent to visit the north side of the coast of Anglesey, Sharon Darlington's millpond garden.
I know.
Wasn't this stunning?
Amazing.
Stunning millpond and gardens, and stunning view. She has the most beautiful views of rolling hills.
Yeah.
It was magical,
just
wasn't it?
Green and lush, and it looks like her garden just goes on forever.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell where the boundary was.
Exactly. It was that kind of nature being the boundary.
Exactly, which a lot of our chit-chat guests actually talk about. We all love them.
And she'd put in the landscaping. It's a slope, so they'd put in a lot of steps, hadn't they? And then the planting all down these slopes, really bright, bold, cheerful planting.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where actually one of the plants that we saw at Tiny House Gardens was the smoke tree, or cotinus.
Yeah.
And it has these really, you can get different colours, but the one that we saw had these really dark, kind of purpley, crimson coloured leaves.
Yeah.
And then obviously it has some flowers which kind of do look like smoke on a bush. And she had the dark coloured one, and I think it's such an amazing ornamental plant to have. And I think if you had it, I'd love to use it for bouquets. Can you imagine having that as the background to flowers?
Yeah.
Instead of I usually put just green in kind of any foliage I can find around the garden. But I think having that dark colour would look amazing.
An interesting contrast.
Pop. So that was a gorgeous plant in her garden. She obviously had hydrangeas as well, cosmos, salvias and geraniums.
Yeah.
They all kind of the perfect kind of cottage garden, cute feel.
Oh,
I love
I'm always
it.
jealous of a hydrangea. I would just smother my garden in them if we could grow them.
Oh, it would be amazing. We need to find a spot which is slightly damper, but not.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
At least, well, even then, I was going to say not until all the trees are grown, but then it will still be dry.
It will still be dry because it's just so free draining. It is unfortunately not going to happen.
And Sue describes it as an amphitheatre, which was perfect description, wasn't it?
Exactly.
It really was.
It was really nice, and that's the whole feeling of it just kind of up behind you, and you can kind of look up.
Really
it would be so
lovely.
pretty.
And it was interesting because Sharon explained how the ground really wasn't very good, and so they use a huge amount of pots and containers.
Yeah.
I think they said about 70% was in pots and containers. So I imagine the upkeep is quite a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
As soon as I think of pots, I think, oh, crikey,
upkeep,
watering, feeding.
Entirely.
But it looked immaculate.
It did. And she put so much time into thinking exactly what plants she would have in different areas, which I find... I found it amazing because I usually just go, love that plant. That's the kind of area I could put it in.
You do. You just shove it in, don't you?
Shove it in there. But she was really thinking about what plants can you see through, what plants are more opaque.
Yeah.
And so, for example, in the seating area, kind of further up top, I think it was, to look down over the pond, she had all these drumstick alliums, Verbena bonariensis, so all things where you can very much see through. It's not opaque. It's kind of blows in the wind and you can see through it nice and easily. So I really like that.
Yeah.
And also, she then had all these different seating areas, which Sue was just
trying them all out.
She was like, right, now I'm going over here, now I'm going over here.
Yeah, there was the jetty.
Yeah.
There was that egg, almost like an egg chair, a swinging chair.
Oh my gosh, there is actually a Chit Chat guest who comes up with that.
Yeah, there is.
Very soon to come out.
And I liked using the pallets for the steps and then the chamomile in between. I thought that was really pretty. I love this use of chamomile.
Yeah, exactly.
Around steps
that reminded me of Mags and Mon, who had their chamomile in the steps. Really good idea. It's nice when you can... It's very hard to make sure that you can see where you're walking, not going to slip on anything. You have enough space to really kind of walk down properly. But at the same time, I don't want a hard edge of a step, like this is the steps, now this is the border. It's kind of nice to have the two kind of flowing into each other slightly.
And the slipping is one concern I'd have with the pallets, because as soon as that's wet, we know from the wood on our steps, that's quite a hazard.
Doomed. Completely and utterly doomed. So do need to be careful of that.
But I loved that blue lime grass that Sue pointed out.
Oh, yeah, that was gorgeous.
It's pretty. Because we've got that little blue grass, but that never really gets its head above everything else. So this one, blue lime grass, is a lot taller, wasn't it?
Very, very tall, actually. Like that. That was in the little gravel garden area with also Stipa gigantea in there. And then that was, the egg chair was kind of around the corner from that.
Well, Sharon has an Instagram page, Millpond by the Sea, and have a look at it. The most beautiful photos.
Really?
Really, and she gets spectacular sunsets over the millpond.
Oh, oh my gosh, you can imagine sitting on the jetty.
That's just a completely pink sky, and then you've got the bright pinks of the hydrangeas in the foreground.
My gosh!
It looks so beautiful, it looks fake.
Really?
Because the colours are so strong and so mesmerising. So really beautiful.
Gosh, and you see that.
And also you mentioned about the beautiful cotinus using that as foliage in bouquets. Well, Sharon's also a florist.
Is she?
Yep.
Well, I mean, you can see that with her planting.
She's got a business called Darling Buds, and her website, darlingbudsanglesey.com.
Oh, cool.
Has all her information there. So again, I'll put that on the website.
Oh, lovely.
Adam's admiring that previously hard pruned elder, which is now looking really healthy and full.
Exactly, it's got nice young foliage to it, and it looks really nice. Next to it, there's a Prunus cerula, which is looking great. And then he had Sweet Cicely around, and he was cutting that back because it had just taken over a whole load, and the Rosa Doncasteri was kind of being swamped a bit by all this Sweet Cicely. But the thing I didn't know about the Sweet Cicely was that you can use the stem in stews, which Adam talks about.
He talks about having it for your rhubarb to sweeten the rhubarb. First of all, I haven't heard of Sweet Cicely.
No.
Shows my ignorance.
Yep.
But now I have. I've read up about it, and it sounds like an amazing plant.
I know, it does. And it's an umbellifer as well, and we do love a good umbellifer.
We do love a good umbellifer, don't we?
So it's perfect all around. It's like Frances usually likes the kind of edible and ornamental size, and I think she would like the Sweet Cicely.
Well, this one, apparently you can eat every part of it. Roots,
Really?
stem, flowers, and the stem and flowers are quite aniseedy in taste.
Yeah, Adam talked about that.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And then we go to meet Neil Duncan, champion rose grower, self-confessed obsessive.
Like complete obsessive.
From Appleshaw in Andover.
So much that I felt sorry for his wife.
Yeah.
Honestly. His poor wife is like, oh, we're going to have a nice weekend. And he's like, no.
I'm down to allotment.
I'm down to allotment.
Poor old Paula. Well, he got into showing from a friend called Bill Gould, who gave him a piece of his allotment, and Neil put in 35 bushes and started showing with Bill.
I know.
So that was his first foray into it. He loves the hybrid tea rose.
He does. He has 52 varieties of the hybrid tea. Hybrid tea, you can tell that it's a hybrid tea rose because the bud is very pointy.
All right.
So, and actually, this is where I come to my bit about one.
Oh yes.
Once again, going to talk about at
Cerney
House. Exactly, Cerney House. And there was this rose that I walked past, and it's quite funny because you know how on your phone you can get live photos.
Yeah.
Anyways, I looked at the photo I took, and in the background you could just hear me going, "Oh, glad I didn't miss you, love." And I'm like, "How old am I?"
You are such an old woman.
Such an old woman. And excuse me. Anyway, so this poor rose, and I would like you to put a photo on the Instagram because it's really beautiful.
Of your rose.
Of my rose. Yeah. And it is a hybrid tea rose. And this is why I was so attracted to it, because it has this beautiful pointy bud and then slightly ruffled petals around the outside. And if you want to look it up before we put it on the Instagram, it is called Nostalgia.
Oh, right.
And it's really, really pretty. It's two-tone rose, kind of a red lip on the outside colour, and then a kind of pale peachy in the centre. So it's really gorgeous.
Really, it is very, very pretty.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was like, oh, that is what we'd call a hybrid tea. So I didn't know about that whatsoever.
Interesting.
And then, of course, he has the Floribundas. He has 30 varieties of those, and those are the more open ones. You can properly see the stamens, the reproductive organs inside. Really good for pollinators. So he kind of took us round a whole load of different varieties that he had.
Yeah.
I will quickly tell you the varieties. So he had Rosa Selfridges. This was a pale lemon colour.
Massive bloom.
Huge blooms,
Great
but
big yellow thing.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
Well,
that is
we saw how he makes everything so perfect.
Exactly.
He's meticulous, isn't he?
He's meticulous.
Amazing.
It's the same colour as the one that we have on our pergola, the little rose pergola, which is really nice. I do like that colour. Then there was another one, which was a Floribunda rose that was called Lucky. And then I've just written in my notes, what are all the cups for on all the flowers, which he does talk about later. Then he has the Red Devil rose, which apparently is the perfect rose. It is a hybrid tea for showcasing because it's just so perfect. Really, it was beautiful, wasn't it?
Do you remember Violet from Avalon Gardens?
Of course, can't forget her.
Well, she was talking about that Red Devil one as well.
Oh my God.
She's had a lot of success with it.
Oh, brilliant. And then there was another one called Sally Holmes. That was a pink blush coloured rose. Fifi rose. And then he talks about this cotton wool and the cups and the flowers. And this is where I stopped. I went, okay, I am never going to be doing this, I'm sorry, and this is completely an obsession.
Yeah.
If you're using cups to create the perfect flower so that there isn't dew on it or any insects get to it, and cotton wool to keep the flower perfectly open, I mean, come on now. That is crazy.
But, if this is your thing, you're going to do it to the best of your ability, aren't you? There's no point in doing it half-hearted.
That's a good point. Mm.
So he's going for it, and clearly having a lot of success with it. He's award-winning.
Exactly.
So he knows what he's up to.
Yeah, and I mean, the blooms were perfect, weren't they?
Yeah. And it was funny when he said he should have stopped at 600 to 700 roses.
I felt really sorry for him. He looked almost flabbergasted by the fact I've got all of this to live with.
4 days to prune, 3 or 4 days to mulch.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly. I was just like, oh no, poor guy.
And he says his personal best is 204 firsts in a year. And he has to beat Tony Bracegirdle, who won 17 national champs.
Yes, exactly. So
this competition in the rose growing world. Well, Neil also has an Instagram page.
Cool.
He's called Neil Duncan 40 Rose King.
Great.
And
Cool
he
name.
displays a lot of his roses on there. And also I noticed that if you've got any questions, he is answering always.
Really?
So I can see that people are putting questions next to posts that he puts up, and he instantly goes in and gives you some answers.
Very
so it's a good place to go for your rose info.
Good.
Adam reminisces about his childhood. He says when he was 6 or 7 years old, at the end of Scruffy Ground's garden, in one of her greenhouses were cacti.
Yeah.
And he used to propagate those and would set up a little stall and make some pocket money from it.
So
feeling of
sweet.
making money at a young age. I remember doing that with some little flower bouquets that I'd make from
Yes.
daisies and dandelions.
Sweet.
Then I'd wrap the base in soggy tissue and foil, take them on our old pram frame up and down the street and sell them to the neighbours.
Did you earn much?
No.
No.
Pocket money.
But
it was so rewarding.
Yeah. That is so sweet. I love also, I forgot about Scruffy Nan and Neat Nan.
Yes, exactly. Well, he's transferring his current cacti from plastic pots into pretty terracotta ones.
Yeah.
Also because they breathe more, don't they?
They do, they're porous.
And
Very
he
nice.
makes his own compost, 50/50 peat-free and grit.
Yep, of course. And I did think to myself, I'm going to have a few little cacti
Oh, gosh.
on my
You
windowsill.
are not going to be able to move in that tiny little room of yours.
Oh, it's going to be so full to the brim with plants. It's
So are
gonna be
they
amazing.
next to the tomato plants?
Yeah,
that you plan
and
to
probably the
have?
aubergines as well.
Oh, God. Okay. We'll see.
Anyways, we will see how I get on. I'll be showing photos, of course.
Of course.
So the two that he was potting up, he had the spider cactus and the star cactus,
Mm-hmm.
because I could not be bothered to say the Latin names.
No.
And he was using paper actually to kind of cup the cactus and roll it out and then pop it into the pot,
Plop it in.
which I thought was quite nice because, of course, they can be quite spiky.
And then he talks about cat litter for the cacti, which of course is... You remember Martin
Yeah,
from Big
of
Cactus
course.
Rescue?
I was like, that was Martin's
He was
thing.
a big advocate of that.
Yeah.
In fact, for his dream garden on Chit Chats, he was having an entire shed full of the cat litter.
Yes, which
for
I think
his
is very,
cacti.
very useful and is needed.
But understandably, Adam didn't want to use it because he doesn't want Ash to get confused, because the last thing you want is Ash thinking that's his litter tray.
Oh no, that would be awful for poor Ash. Nasty spikes. And then finally he pops off to another area where he's got all these scabious that he has grown to really huge size. The scabious atropurpurea black knight.
That wasn't the one you saw at Great Dixter.
No.
I wondered. That was
And
even darker, wasn't it?
It was even darker and even bigger.
Right.
It was
Do we
incredible.
still not know what that
I
is?
still do not know.
Oh,
what it
shall we
is.
put that on housekeeping for next week?
Yes, actually, because when I saw this atropurpurea one, I just think, oh, is that the one?
Yeah.
And then I thought, no, that's far too small and not dark enough.
And it was a lot lighter.
Yeah.
It was an amazing deep colour, but the one you saw was so black.
It was so black. There's actually a rose which goes really, really black, and everyone thinks, oh, it's a black rose, but it's actually just a really, really, really dark red.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And that, the atropurpurea scabious, was he was planting it next to an Argentina chocolate, which also looks nice dark colours, so it looks perfect. And he'd taken out a bit of Baltic parsley around there as well.
Yeah. And then we go to inspirational gardener Jamie Quince-Starkey, founder of Down to Earth. which is an organisation pushing forward nature-based regeneration.
Yes.
And he has a site in the heart of Derby city centre, and it was beautiful with all these. Did you see all the plants he had? There were dahlias, foxgloves, strawberries. Really great space.
Yeah, entirely.
And Jamie explained how most of his work has been sort of factory floor shift work based, and his solace in between his shifts was escaping to the Peak District and rambles, going off on long walks.
Yeah, entirely.
And then he recalls coming off a night shift one time, sleeping for 4 hours, completely exhausted, and his wife getting him into the garden. And he said how he just felt his mind, his body, his spirit change. And that's where the idea for this community garden was born.
Yeah.
And from everything I've read, Jamie doesn't do things by halves. He's taken the bit between his teeth and absolutely run with this idea. And we'll talk about that a bit later on.
Yeah, because, already you could see in the garden that it was absolutely perfect and it was pristine. And he wanted everyone to get the feeling that he felt from when he's in the garden. So that was what he was trying to do.
And he spoke with such passion about it, didn't he?
Entirely. So they had these gorgeous gardens which was full of ornamentals and edibles, and it was just perfect. It's kind of my perfect space is to have a mix of both, and you can enjoy nibbling on a bit of this,
exactly,
collecting that for supper tonight, and at the same time going, oh, that's a pretty bouquet. And
he'd had an artichoke, hadn't he, in his garden. Our artichokes have just taken over.
They are the best plant in
but
our
I
garden. Love
how it wasn't doing well in his garden. He brought it over. Absolutely going for it. He's even got a tattoo of it.
Yeah, which I think is the world's coolest tattoo.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of got this slight cottage garden feel in there as well, which is really nice for an urban setting. So it had things like wisteria, foxgloves, and strawberries kind of growing everywhere. There was a clary sage, passion flowers, and lavateria and clematis.
Yeah.
The lavateria is the mallow
yeah.
flower, and that was all climbing up this kind of huge archway, which was lovely as well.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like a really happy environment. And you would just have people chuckling to themselves whilst they were gardening. And that's what I do sometimes. I sometimes will just giggle out loud because there's a plant doing some weird thing. And I'm just like, why are you doing that? And how are you doing that?
It is amazing what he's done. He said how there used to be various facilities for people in the city, but many of those are gone. And having this community garden open up is just another avenue for people to come and explore. And he talked about something that's called Grow Bros. Did you hear about that?
Oh.
Which was just brilliant. So this is that's such a cool name, first of all.
Grow
but
Bros.
Also it's about getting men coming together and working in the garden.
Yeah.
But then chatting whilst doing. It's like I always say, it's nice to chat on either a long drive or on a walk because you're not eyeballing each other.
Yes.
You're facing forwards, and so it's easier to talk about those
such a good point.
Deeper, tougher subjects.
Yeah,
and
you do just kind of relax a bit, and you're just walking and you're thinking about stuff, and then you might just chat a bit.
That's why walks are so healthy.
Yeah,
but I think of it the same if you've got a few of you gardening, so you're not looking at each other, you're looking at what you're doing, and so conversation can just evolve a bit more and get a bit deeper at times, and it's so healthy, as we all know, the absolute critical importance of opening up and just let it all hang out. Just let it all out.
Let it all out. We do.
Just bleh. There you go.
Take
that's everything that's going on in my head. And I feel much better for it now.
Yeah, exactly.
But good on Jamie. Just a fantastic space.
Yeah.
And as I was saying earlier, he doesn't do things by halves. He's approached Tim Schmidt at the Eden Project.
No way.
All the way down south in Cornwall.
Whoa.
To talk to him about creating a mini Eden project up in Derby. And Tim Schmidt's been so impressed with the enthusiasm and attitude of Jamie that he's very much backing this.
Really? Oh, I mean, he had such enthusiasm.
He really did.
Yeah.
And Tim Schmidt is quoted as saying, I think the opportunity to make Derby the centre of a new green enlightenment is outstanding.
Really?
But Derby City Council is also really on board. They've been unbelievably supportive and collaborating as well.
Brilliant, yeah.
And the sorts of events that go on in this space, they have sort of stay and play sessions for young families. They do festivals. They have a bookworm festival themed around nature. So they've got authors workshops, day festivals. They've got screening nights, gardening workshops, comedy nights, talks, gigs.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Workshops.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's how you get people interested.
And they have an outdoor barbecue. They have a pizza oven. This is a really social... I mean, all those things I've just listed. You think what that takes, organising all that. And it's one thing after another. So it's full time what he's doing.
It's amazing.
Creating this incredible space. But what they're now trying to do is they've got the outdoor area. They're also trying to get backing to convert an adjacent building so that they have an indoor space as well. And then did you see those big metal arches?
Yes.
Well, they plan to clad that in glass.
Ooh.
So that you've got then kind of a glass house space as well.
That's so cool.
So Jamie has so many plans for the future, and thanks to, as I always say, you can teach skills, you can't teach attitude.
Nope.
And to have this infectious positive energy and attitude, I think he's going to go really far with this.
Everyone's just going to come, this makes me happy, I'm going to go here.
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. I absolutely love stories like this. So good on you, Jamie.
Entirely.
We meet little Buster.
Oh my gosh.
Buster. Those ears.
I wrote that in capitals in my phone. Oh my gosh.
Their ears you just want to twiddle.
Cute.
There would be a lot of twiddling if I was talking to Buster.
Yeah,
like with Hobbs's ears. They're so malleable, her ears.
So
soft, twiddly.
And actually Buster looks exactly like Hobbs. Sometimes
like a little short-legged version of Hobbs.
Yeah, because when you ping Hobbs's ears up, they looked exactly like Buster's, just these kind of huge, what is it, a wingbat?
Wingnut.
Wingnut, thank you, that was it. Like
and it was lovely to hear that Ash and Buster get along as well.
So cute, yeah.
What a lovely setup Adam's got.
Oh, I mean, honestly, we're so pathetic. We just see a cat or we see a dog and we're just like, oh. I mean, come on now, Buster is so cute.
Our friends last night, guinea pigs, so I was even about the guinea pigs.
I didn't see
them.
A
bit concerned when the neighbour's cat came over there.
Oh yeah, that was
they were in
creepy.
the garden. Anyway, it's another story.
Yeah.
So Adam's talking about his veg garden.
Yeah,
He's got fruit.
He has.
Herbs.
Veg.
Got flowers in there.
He's got everything and it's really thriving. He's got a beautiful thornless blackberry, which we have as well, which should be... Oh no, have the fruit gone over by the time we get back?
Don't say any of that. There's nothing we can do about it and it'll just upset us. So
I know. Okay, I'm going to not
hold
cry.
that thought until we get back.
Not cry. Yeah, so he's got everything going in there. Then he's got these step over apples as well, which are looking good. He's got Holland pippin and balsam, and he's having to prune a lot to let air in and kind of get rid of all that kind of extra foliage.
Yeah. And then we go with Frances. Frances Tophill to Bath to visit a garden that, as she says, isn't wasting an inch.
No.
And this is Matt Evans, a landscape architect and garden designer. He moved to that garden 5 years ago.
Yes.
And it was interesting because it was previously just paths, patio and grass. And he kept a lot of the original landscaping. So often people in a garden like that will remove a straight path because it doesn't draw the eye well enough. You want to have a windy path so you can never quite see the end. And
entirely.
It makes the garden feel bigger. But he kept that because he said, well, it's useful. It gets me from A to B.
Yeah, exactly.
And he got rid of most of the lawn but kept a tiny patch, which we find out later was extremely useful because his little one was able to sit and play on the lawn.
And I do think that a little patch, a very small patch of kept lawn is nice. And then having kind of meadowy, unkept grass around is great.
And
Perfect.
also we now know from our chit chat with Martin Dawn how important lawn is for all those burrowing bees.
Exactly. So it was nice to have that. And then he had lots of different textures. So he had very light and frothy textures towards the front, and then near the back it was kind of really hard shapes and interesting kind of big kind of in your face shapes.
And mostly greens. So the colour palette was sort of quite restrained. There's pinks, whites and greens, but predominantly green.
Now, as much as he said there was a good reason behind having the colour palette restrained so it doesn't kind of create this just kind of whacked together weird garden, like it's just been kind of, you chucked everything at it. I I couldn't relate, unfortunately, at the moment. I wanted a bit more oomph to
You want some colour in there, do you?
Yeah, and especially to also guide my eye a bit more. I found that I could just too easily focus on everything all at once.
It's just, I
do you
totally
get that?
Understand that. So it's a mass of green.
Yeah, and pink and whites.
So it was very calming, and green always
lovely,
is.
yeah, of course.
So there was definitely that feel. But yes, I would have liked to have seen some splodges of colour, but we are very much about colour.
We are, and I wanted to see, I don't know, maybe like a purple or an orange somewhere at the back to maybe go, oh, I want to walk over there now.
Yeah.
I want to go towards that colour. Because I'm attracted to colour, I just go for it.
Yes. Little colour magpie.
Yeah, entirely. So I wasn't hugely on board with the colour palette.
It wasn't quite to your taste.
No, it wasn't to my taste, but that's not to say that it's not to everyone else's taste.
Exactly.
But however, I do want to say that I really took on board the whole idea of having different textures and different areas to make you therefore look towards kind of the harder shapes towards the back and the softer shapes towards the front to kind of create two different areas in that respect.
Yeah.
I think that is very interesting.
That's a good point, and it does make me think then if you are, say, colourblind, so colours don't stand out for you, textures. Then in this garden the textures really are. So your eye's going to be drawn by that rather than a blob of bright pink somewhere.
Exactly. And they had there were quite a few interesting plants. There was a Korean celery.
Really interesting plants.
Didn't know what that was. Very cool plant. Really pretty as well. There was a Euphorbia segueriana nisiciana, which is just nisiciana. It's quite a weird one. He couldn't even say it. It was really hard to say.
Beautiful lime green.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Gorgeous. Then, of course, the Paulownia, the foxglove tree.
Yes, that enormous. It was enormous and the leaves were enormous.
I know. And Frances was just like, this is gorgeous.
Talking of Frances, there was that lovely moment of Frances and Matt comparing their MO for planting.
Yes.
Digging up and replanting.
Yes, and a week later going, oh no, that really does not work.
And they were both kind of reassured that each other had the same method.
Yeah, entirely. I do that with my friends sometimes, and we're just like,
no way, you do that too?
You do the same, and we just look at each other like, how is this possible that we do exactly the same things?
It's really sweet.
It's really, really funny. So I completely got that, and I thought it was so sweet how they were just chuckling together like, okay, it's normal. We're not weird.
Exactly.
It's all normal.
And then he has an awesome plant called the giant butterbur, or Petasites japonicus.
Yes, in that tub at the back, because apparently it can get really big for a small garden otherwise.
Huge leaves.
I mean, already it was big, and that was in a tub.
And he said good for a tropical garden.
I really, really liked it. And next to it was the Arundo Donax reed. Really tall.
Yeah, it looked a bit like corn.
It did, like a mutated corn, which has just gone crazy.
Corn. But Frances likened it to bamboo in look, but certainly not in habit. It doesn't run like a bamboo, so you don't have to worry so much about it.
That's good.
And then she talks about the repeated forms through the garden.
Of course, yeah. So there were umbellifers, astrantias, euphorbias, wild strawberries even. And then even in this bed there was a garlic cress.
Yeah.
Never seen this before. Absolutely.
Completely new to Frances as well, she said.
Yeah, and gorgeous. The fact that it had these beautiful orange golden seed pods at the end, and really kind of pretty tinkly as well.
Yeah.
And then white flowers as an umbellifer. And I really like this plant. I thought that would look gorgeous all year round.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones because sometimes the seed heads of umbellifers can just kind of go a bit brown. And you're just like, oh, okay. But this one, that is going to work very well.
And it's edible, of course, so you can eat the leaves, the flowers, everything.
Yeah.
And did you see that stone water feature with a bamboo spout?
Yes, I did. That was lovely, wasn't it?
Well, apparently that's a Tetsubaki pond. Do you know what that is?
No, I do not know what that is.
No, nor do I, or nor did I. Well, that refers to a type of Japanese water basin, typically made of granite, used in traditional Japanese gardens and tea gardens.
I
thought that was a very calming place.
So
and also, when you saw it, I was imagining it to be a lot smaller than when he was then next to it. And I realised it was quite a decent-sized basin.
Very decent. And the water just trickled out perfectly.
And then I think really the summary for this one was no matter how small your garden is, there's always room for one more plant.
Always. Everyone
at the end.
says that.
And it did make me think we haven't seen Frances's garden for a long time.
We haven't
how
at
she's
all.
getting on.
Yeah.
She was trying to dig out bamboo by that pond, wasn't she?
Yeah, she had all sorts going on.
I wonder how she's doing.
I hope they show her at some point.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Well, Matt and his garden featured in Gardens Illustrated, and he was named their one to watch in 2025.
Ooh.
So that's one of 25 individuals making waves in the horticultural industry.
Very interesting.
Isn't that cool?
I hope to hear more about him.
And if you want to see his garden, you can visit it through the NGS, although no more viewings this year. But
okay.
Hopefully it'll be there next year.
Great.
And I'll put a link to the NGS site and his website onto our website.
Great. Fantastic.
Adam's sorting some low-level apples on his stepovers, and we're to jobs for the weekend.
We sure are.
Peg down strawberry runners, cut back hardy geraniums, and feed your tomatoes.
Yes, which I do need to do when I get back.
Aye.
Aye.
And then we have some more reminiscing about selling cacti from his stall when he was little.
Yeah, he's really gone into his little dream. It's just like,
Gone to a very special place.
Yeah.
Your favourite plant, Sweet Pea?
Was the artichokes in the beautiful community garden, because I just thought we can think that artichokes are just kind of monstrous, huge plants.
No, you think that. I love all our artichokes.
No, but
you're always worried about the threat of having to eat one. Which
because
I
it's a
do
real
every
threat.
year for you. But you always love them once you have it.
They're fine, but I prefer the flowers.
And also, just on that, aren't they amazingly filling when you're just really scraping off a bit of flesh from each of the leaves when you have an artichoke? I find them very filling.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's not like macaroni cheese though, so
it's not mac and cheese, that's true.
But yeah, that's mine. What's yours?
Mine is, of course, the foxglove tree in Matt Evans' garden.
You're in love
we
with
talked about
trees.
it with Chris and Dean, didn't we?
We
from
did.
Ross and Y on their chit chat. And we did say we were going to get planting them this year, and like everything else, it's just fallen by the wayside.
Yes.
It's been a busy year.
Unfortunately.
So your top takeaway?
My top takeaway was from Matt Evans' garden, and that was having the frothy, then bold textures in your garden. I really thought that would add a little extra oomph into your garden, as well as colours that I'm going to add to mine.
So you want us to work more on textures?
Because I think one can have a lot of fun with them. Because I'm coming across new plants all the time, which
it's amazing,
I really don't know about.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. What was your top takeaway?
Mine was the sweet Sicily.
Oh, of course. That was a cool plant.
Can be used instead of sugar. What an awesome plant. Never heard of it, and we'll be looking more into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, for next week,
what have we got?
Monty is summer pruning his trained fruit, sowing some hardy annuals for cutting next year, and planning ahead for winter in the veg garden. In his wildlife garden, he has come to a difficult decision. 4 years after its official opening, Jamie Butterworth visits RHS Garden Bridgewater in Salford to discover how it has been developing. And at home in the Peak District, Rekha Mystery shares her expertise on how to become more self-sufficient with a tasty array of homegrown produce.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be so much fun.
There is also a poignant celebration of the work a couple has done restoring a garden surrounding a historic windmill near Cambridge. So that's the one that was meant to be the other week. So hopefully it is going to happen next week.
We're actually going to see them. Great stuff.
So if you want to get in touch, here's how.
If you have any questions, feedback or comments, you can get in touch with us on our contact page at notjustagarden.co.uk or via our email, which is notjustagarden@outlook.com, or you can even find us on Facebook or Instagram and come visit us there and hit the follow button. And if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world if you could post a 5-star review. It really helps our podcast climb up the pile. If you didn't enjoy it, bigger polls from us, and please don't. For more Sweet Pea and Bear content, including videos, blogs, guest garden lists, early access to episodes, podcast outtakes, which are great, and community chats, come join us on our Patreon. You can find a link on our website.
That's enough from us, Sweet Pea.
Yep, that is.
And next week we will be back on the better mics. No more hissing sounds in the background.
Yeah, very sorry about that. And also, I will probably have a lot to say about the garden, probably in floods of tears. Hopefully not.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye-bye, Sweet Pea.
Bye-bye, Mummy Bear.